They told you Kanye's back on top. They told you the tour buzz proves it. But then an alleged studio clip from August 26th hit X, and the sound wasn't victory. It was shouting, finger pointing, and a blame game over Donda 2's numbers. The date stamp says yesterday. The tone says damage control. People will argue about the audio all week. They'll say it's out of context. They'll ask who pressed record. They'll claim it's AI. Here's why it matters anyway. Because when you line up the receipts, the pattern shows up fast. And the first headline lands by the 12-second mark. Donda 2 resurfaced on streaming in late April, critics dragged it, and within 24 hours, producers were publicly threatening to pull it down if they didn't get paid. That's not noise. That's a paper trail. Let's set the timeline clean. In 2022, he walls the album off behind a $200 device. No Apple, no Spotify, no YouTube. It was framed as freedom and ownership. It also shut the door on charts and casual listeners. Fans called it bold. Industry heads called it risky. Piracy called it dinner. Either way, it meant there was no real chart debut to hang on the wall. Fast forward to 2025. Surprise drop, Donda 2 quietly appears on streaming, credited to Donda. 18 tracks, some mixing tweaks, then the producer situation goes public. Posts fly, threats to yank tracks, payment talk. Now you've got smoke coming from the studio and the timeline at the same time. So when an alleged clip arrives with Ye snapping about sales, it doesn't land in a vacuum. It lands in a room already hot. The words hit because the context is hot. You can hear the frustration even through the phone recording hiss. He wants to know why the numbers aren't saving the narrative. He wants to know why the fans didn't stampede. He wants to know who dropped the ball. Here's the snapback. It wasn't only the fans. The STEM player plan taught people to hunt for leaks, rips, and mirrors. That behavior doesn't vanish when you upload the album 3 years later. You train the audience to listen off platform, then you ask them back politely. Some came, a lot didn't. And the ones who did looked at the track list and said, wait, we've heard this version. There's also the Billboard problem. You can't brag about chart clout for an album that never entered the ring while the ring keeper says it's ineligible. Fans know that. Brands know that. Labels know that. It feeds the perception loop. If it isn't on the charts, it must not hit. Not always true, but optics crush nuance on the internet. And when optics clash with ego, the internet picks chaos. Let's talk money. Two paths were always on the table. Path 1, a premium hardware paywall with a loyal base and heavy margins. Path 2, open streaming, lower margins, bigger funnel, and the prestige metrics. He chose Path 1 first. That brought in quick revenue, yes, but it came with piracy, media backlash, and a narrative that the music served the device, not the other way around. And when those pieces wobble, you get nights like this: rants, rewrites, pull the mix, turn it down. If the alleged audio is real, it sounds like a leader who believes the room cost him momentum. But a leader sets the road. He chose the road. Now, is Donda 2 a flop? That word is emotional. It's a crowd pleaser. It fits thumbnails. The smarter question is softer but sharper. Did it meet its own goals? If the goal was cultural dominance, the answer looks no. If the goal was to prove independence, the answer looks mixed. Independence without execution reads like chaos. Audiences don't reward chaos forever. Not even his. There's a human layer here too. This is a man who once reset the game. He knows arenas, headlines, and first-week wins. So a bad night in August isn't just a bad night, it's a mirror. It reflects the 3-year trail of decisions that brought everyone back into this room, arguing about the same songs again. One tribe says genius needs no approval. Another says the genius left the building in 2018. Most are in the middle. They want a clean drop, strong songs, and less baggage. They want to share new Kanye without explaining Kanye. They want the music to carry itself. That's why the alleged clip stings. It sounds like the room arguing about everything except the songs. Let's look at the rollout math. Drops are now multimedia events. Your livestream friends become your cosigns. Your enemies become your marketing. If the livestream includes personalities who turn off portions of your base, you narrow the funnel. When that pushback hits, you pivot again. From there, the audience learns to expect inconsistency, not excellence. Producers, for their part, are not villains here. They chased deadlines, filed stems, and lived in midnight sessions. When money disputes go public, it's usually after a lot of quiet emails. When their names trend next to takedown, it means the patience ran out. That's not the mark of a healthy album machine. It's the mark of a machine running on fumes and fear. Back to the alleged audio. The ugliest part isn't the volume. It's the blame. If you're yelling that the fans didn't get it, you've lost the plot. Great albums don't need essays, they need hooks, lines, and ideas. If you're yelling that press poisoned the well, ask why critics had the same notes 3 years apart. If you're yelling at the mix, understand audiences forgave rough mixes before. If the songs punch through, no shock stunts, no live chaos. Quietly put the best music front and center. It's not complicated, it's just humble. And humble is a language the market still understands. But that requires letting the past go. The platform wars, the fight with charts, the idea that the old rules don't apply. Some rules are gravity. Consistency earns trust. Trust earns streams. Streams earn leverage. Leverage buys freedom. He tried to buy freedom first. The receipts show you pay for it later. There's a cautionary tale here for every big artist. The louder your brand, the more your music has to whisper the truth. If the music can't stand without your name, the name starts to sink. A leak can't destroy a classic. A rant can't erase an anthem. A timeline can't bury a hook the world wants. If the world isn't humming it, no rant can force it to. So where does this go next? If that alleged clip gets verified, expect statement wars, expect the team to call it a passionate conversation. Expect some producers to post subtweets about respect and payment. Expect a few collaborators to quietly step back. If it stays unverified, it still tells you something. Audiences were ready to believe it. The part we can't verify yet is the August 26th audio. So take the internet storm with caution, but don't ignore the smoke. You don't get this much smoke without something burning. In the music, in the money, or in the room. There's a reason this stings more than a typical celebrity outburst. Donda was a moment. It was raw and big and human. People wanted its sequel to win. They wanted a comeback narrative. When you take that hope and hand back a storm, resentment grows. The audience becomes a jury. The jury looks for new evidence. Last night felt like evidence. And the bigger lesson? You can't argue your way out of a mid-album. You have to out-create it. That means cutting tracks that don't hit, letting collaborators breathe, and putting replay value above spectacle. It means getting out of the news cycle and into the hook cycle. It means speaking softly and letting the bass line talk again. If this is the turning point, it can still be saved. Call the producers, pay them, lock the room, pick the best 8, finish the vocals, clear the samples, release one song with a simple visual where nothing burns but the chorus. No stream stunts, no shock screenshots, just a record that makes people text, "He's back." That text is worth more than any rant. Until then, the headline writes itself. Donda 2 keeps trending for everything except the music. We'll keep watching the receipts. If the clip gets confirmed, we'll update with names and full context. If it gets debunked, we'll say it loud. Either way, the core is the same. The most powerful fix here isn't a post. It's a song that shuts everyone up. So who's the hero and who's the villain? The heroes are the people still trying to make the music right. The producers, the engineers, the listeners who want the songs to win. The villain is the chaos that keeps stealing the spotlight. And if that chaos has a name tonight, it's the one yelling in that room. In the end, that's the real twist. Kanye aimed to destroy the critics, the leaks, and the doubters. But every time he lets chaos lead, he destroys his own case. The moment he kills the chaos, he wins. Until then, the leaks will keep writing the story for him. And the story won't be kind. Villain aimed to destroy hero, but ultimately destroyed themselves.